Welcome to another Friday fireside chat, not in front of the fire, in front of the whiteboard, but I want to do the whiteboard because I want to map out pretty much the whole talking point that I want to go over, and that is essentially the media does think you're an idiot. I don't mean that in a political sense. I'm not talking about whether you consider somebody a liberal media source or a conservative media source or somebody right that they all think we're absolute idiots. And a week ago today, we had a perfect example of that with the LYFT pump and dump. I mean the LYFT IPO. So what do I mean the media thinks we're idiots? Well, the media is really good at not really lying, but taking a truth and then twisting it. So what do I mean? Well, there's kind of two things out there. We have what I'll just call textbook knowledge theory. So I mean, yeah, that is true. From a textbook perspective, it's accurate. And then you have real world. Meaning, okay, but how do things actually play out in the real world? How do things play out in more of a practical setting? And sometimes, as you're about to see here, that translation is not very smooth. And what do I mean by that? Well, LYFT had LYFT, like I said, a week ago today, assuming you're watching this video when it's released. So ticker symbol LYFT, had their IPO. And again, from the textbook perspective, the IPO and all that, it opened up, it was priced at $72. Again, textbook wise, okay, the IPO price, the $72. But where the price actually opened up was, let's change the colors, all the way up here, give or take right around, we'll call it $85. Now it was higher than that slightly, but this illustrates the point. So that's where it actually opened up. And then from there, this happened. And if you were watching LYFT you know where I'm going to go with this if you were watching it trade. But it was up around this general area and literally straight down it went. And it went down and down and down. In fact, I'm going to put a screenshot up on the screen. So right now you're looking at, I usually don't use line charts, but that's not an error. That line that's going literally straight down is what LYFT has done since basically going public. So the question now becomes, all right, well, you just saw how nasty it got. But then it's always curious to see, okay, well, what exactly is going on from that perspective in terms of, okay, well, what is the media saying about all this when it's going down? Now you see on the screen from CNBC, LYFT up 20%. Now, that's not wrong, because from a textbook perspective, yes, from where the IPO price was, it was up 20%. So they're not lying from a textbook perspective. It was up that amount. But let's transition to the real world perspective, meaning to you, to me, to normal people as traders. How am I defining normal? Basically anybody that wasn't an insider, that wasn't an investment banker, that wasn't some sort of early investor into the company. Any of those people, okay, this textbook definition would apply. For them, it was up 20%, for some of them, even more than that. But for anybody outside of that, aka the normal people, this thing was never up 20%. You, myself, none of us had an opportunity at all to ever make 20%. Yet you saw that headline. There's the media trying to proclaim that literally when this price action was going on, when the price was dumping and dumping and dumping, you could have gone on a CNBC and maybe you saw that exact same headline. Hey, 20% up. Hey, and everybody's all excited and saying that it's 20% up. Well, yeah, that is true. Again, textbook, but real world wise, no, people are getting absolutely slaughtered. Anybody that bought it after it opened up to us normal people, got absolutely slaughtered. And as of the recording of this video, they are still getting slaughtered. In fact, it's down, it finally eventually dropped below 72. I don't know where it is right now, but I know for sure that at one point it went even down below 70. So now at that point, I mean, the news media can't even say that it's up from a textbook perspective. But do you see how it's not a lie, but it's also very deceiving? And this, and kind of brings it full circle, this is why knowledge is power. This is why if you want to get into the market, you can't rely on the headlines. You can't rely on what other people are telling you. You can't rely on social media. You have to rely on, yes, textbook stuff. That is important. Don't get me wrong. You have to rely on the theory of things. That is important. But you also have to know, okay, well, how does that apply in the real world though? Because there is definitely a difference. And this LYFT IPO illustrates exactly that. It was a glorified pump and dump. And while this pump and dump was going on, to see the media, it basically leaves you speechless to say, really? I mean, you're a financial network. You know a lot of traders follow you. Do you think that, and I don't know. I guess my question, did you look at 20% and say, oh wow, LYFT's up 20%? Were you thinking, what are you talking about, up 20%? People are getting slaughtered. This thing's been getting hammered all day long. What are you talking about 20%? I mean, because that would tell me that, all right, you will have a good understanding of textbook, between textbook and real world information. So just remember, if you're playing, and this doesn't even pertain to trading or financial markets, but just kind of in life in general, I mean, if you depend on the news media, if you depend on the mainstream media, if you depend on external forces to try to tell you and inform you on things, like I said, I'm not saying they are lying to you, but what I'm saying is there is always that difference where what they're saying could be true. Maybe it is true in one sense, but in more the real world practical sense, it's totally not what's going on at all. So just keep that in mind. And I don't know, did you trade LYFT? Were you part of that? Did you see the carnage that unfolded while it was absolutely getting hammered, yet the news media was proclaiming it was up 20%? Crazy, crazy stuff. But if anything, please don't let the media play you like a little puppet. If you are out there trading alone currently and maybe are in the market looking for a community to join to assist you in your trading or to just help you, give you another set of eyeballs, then I do have a private trading community where you can trade alongside me and other experienced traders. So what you see popping up on the screen right now is both an information link. So if you click on the inner circle one, that is going to take you to the page where I explain all the details of what exactly come with the community, both the chat room and the newsletter. And then the other image that has popped up is a behind the scenes tour where you can see exactly what is going to be contained within the community. I take you through, like I said, a behind the scenes tour of everything, and that way you'll know precisely what you are getting when you join. So definitely check that stuff out if you are interested and thinking about wanting to join a community, and let me know if you have any questions.